storyteller at heart, and I want to tell you about a big, exciting, wild, fun death and a quieter death, and how you can start talking about death and dying and the planning process that goes around it, because that is the key to my message. How are you preparing yourself and your loved ones for that time in your lives? So my mom is very much like me. She's got a big personality. We both love talking. I always say we were both born with that showboat gene, and so here I am on stage. And my mom and I also have a great capacity for those 3 o'clock in the morning conversations where we hold hands and feel and get real and get deep. And so I thought, well, this is going to be a walk in the park. I'll just say to my mom, hey, so mom, when you die, like, what are the plans? Thinking that it would be well received and we would have 17 lattes and get right into it. That was not the case. She very much reacted like this cat here and was like, oh, how dare you? All you want is for me to die. You want to chuck me in a home and be done with me. She was very abrasive and not at all what I thought she would be. She did not want to talk about it. She did not want to think about it. And we're a family who's quite comfortable with death and dying and funerals. We're a big family, so we've been through it a lot. So this was genuinely a surprise to me and my siblingship. As we continued to try to soften our mom, to talk about her will, her death wishes, her estate planning, and she was in perfect health at the time, what eventually moved the needle for her and for us was saying, this is going to help your kids. We are going to be grieving so much when this comes to fruition. We will want that roadmap of what you want, what is important to you, what your wishes are. And we just need to know in advance so that it doesn't come to us at a time of duress and hardship. And so very slowly, she started to sort of let that reasoning sink in. And like any good mom, she went, well, if it helps my kids, obviously, I'm going to do it. She then did a complete 180, where she went from being adverse to talking about it to now treating her funeral and planning it sort of like a thrill. She was like, how do we have a huge party? Everyone's going to wear yellow. No one's going to wear black. People who want to speak, don't shut them up. Let the funeral go on for hours. Do you think fireworks is too much, or should we just do confetti cannons? Do you think Randy Travis is available, and would he sing Forever and Ever Amen? Like, the sky was the limit. And we entertained this, and we talked about this, and we planned and planned and planned, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But at the end of the day, she did have her will, her medical directive, her power of attorney, all laid out neatly for us. So when it came time that she actually was in the hospital and the care team said, we have bad news, we're putting your mom into the ICU. This is the time where if people want to come and see her, you should reach out to them. And so we did. And my mom was a teacher for 40 years in our hometown community of Camrose, Alberta. So students and past parents came. Family and friends came, and it was in 2018, so we were able to have as many people as we could get visiting her, and it was like a revolving door of people coming in, reading with her, bringing her art projects, praying with her, singing to her, singing about her, and she was kibbutzing with them and having this great time, really enjoying dozens and dozens of people coming through and celebrating her and sharing memories, and it was such a special time. It feels incongruent because we knew the end was near for her. She battled cancer, but what did her in the end was actually organ failure. So she was super sharp right up until the end. In fact, the day before she passed, in a rare moment with just the two of us, she said to me, Kris, all these people have come to visit me. What if I live? I'll be so embarrassed. I said, well, Mom, go ahead and live. We can PR a little embarrassment. And so, true to our word and true to my mom's planning, when it came time for her funeral, we took our time. And one of the highlights for me was that there were 600 people at my mom's funeral in our huge church. And I got everyone to stand up in their brightly colored outfits and sing Skinnamarink Dinky Dink with me, which is a memory for all of the grandchildren and the younger kids too. And in fact, they don't even really remember that it was my mom's funeral. They're like, remember that party where you sang Skinnamarink Dinky Dink? I'm like, yeah, I do. It was outstanding. The planning piece that my mom put into what was going to happen after she passed was one of the key things for us, because after the funeral, that's when the hard work came. Because now we have a house and a car and a dog and all kinds of things to sort of unpack and unravel but we knew what she wanted because we had talked about it at length and loudly. And that is part of my message today, is talk about it. So by contrast, 15 months later, my husband at the time was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So the word cancer hit me pretty heavy, and the word stage 4 hit me pretty heavy. A little piece of me went, ooh, I know what to do. We're making charts, we're making lists, you're telling me everything you want, this is gonna be great, we're gonna talk about it all day long. And this did not suit my husband. He is very much the opposite of me, very quiet, very not wanting to share and robustly plan, and we were polar opposites in that. I'll never forget the day that he said these words to me. He said, Kris, I need you to stop talking. And he said, I need to do this a little quieter, and I need to do it my way. And I didn't know what that yet meant, and neither did he, because the difference for us as well is we were thrust into the prognosis and the sickness before the planning. So now trying to do the planning while he was struggling, while he was in pain, while I was losing sleep and highly emotional and uncertain and unstable was really, really hard. The next day that I'll always remember is July 14th, because July 14th was the day that Ben decided he was no longer going to do chemo. Our care team had let us know that it had not been making an impact. It was not helping his health or his cancer, and stage 4, one of the first things with the diagnosis is that it had also already spread into other organs. So it was always a slim chance. So him deciding to no longer do the chemo on July 14th, it was a Tuesday, was a really tough decision. It was tough for me to hear it. It was tough for him to decide it. And even in that moment, it was like this weird, hope is such a wonderful human condition. And the team said to us, we think you have until Thanksgiving. Christmas is pretty iffy. So what you want to do now is make sure you do have everything lined up and make sure you do have sort of plans in place to look for peace and joyful moments and living until that end with him. And I thought, okay, great, here we go, July 14th, now I can plan gently, quietly, started making lists. We'll have your mom over, just alone. We'll have your brother over, just him. Nothing overwhelming, no big parties. July 14th, we had a notary come to the house that day. It was a big day for us, and sign me onto the title of our house, things we hadn't done. We had our will completed and had that paperwork signed and sent off. We had the kinesiology and occupational therapy team come in and measure things in our house for bars and supports and things like that, thinking, okay, we're going to go forward for these 3 months and we're going to plan this great time, everything's set up. And so much to my surprise, July 14th really sticks in my mind, but it's July 16th that hits me harder because that was the day he actually passed away. So I had 2 days, not 3 months. And no one was promising me anything, but you hold on to that hope and you think, oh, well, we'll get to Christmas, we'll get to Thanksgiving, we'll show them, and there will be some miracle revival. He's still only 43, we're 43, this is it, this is still gonna work. And so when it didn't, backing up to the 15th, because of what I had sort of learned with my mom too, I had said to Ben, what would you actually like at a service, at a funeral? And he didn't want to talk about it. He really didn't want anything. So I said, well, could you write something down? And he did that night. The night before he passed, he wrote down, and I found it the next day with my sister, 3 bullet points. And this is the perfect example of how quiet he was. The 3 bullet points that he wanted to come to fruition for his service was this. 1, meet by the river. 2, Lisa talks. She's my sister. She's very much like me. 3, everybody leaves. That was it. He did not want the fireworks and Randy Travis and the things that my mom did. The aftermath of my husband's passing, though, was a lot more difficult to navigate because I had a notebook with scratchings. I had napkins and Post-its and little tenuous pieces of planning and things that he and I had started talking about but never got a chance to really fully explore. So a lot of the things were me taking best guesses. And I'm a new, young, grieving widow, so my operational skills are not really super high right now. So when I look at the contrast between, wrong way. My mom being a sparkly, wild sort of sunflower and diving in and going for it and being enthusiastic about it. And Ben, who was very resistant and very not comfortable in that space, and it even more so because when you're sick, when you're at a place where you're struggling with other things like your health and you're facing your own death, then to talk about things with your loved ones is exceptionally hard, as you can imagine. So when I look now at my role, I work at hospice. I'm the operations manager. People will often say to me, "Oh, you work at hospice? Gosh, it must be really sad." And I have to tell you, it's not. It's a place where sad things happen, but it is a peaceful and joyful place. It is a home. So our North Okanagan Hospice has a home with 12 rooms. Every room has a garden view and 24/7 visiting from your family, friends. You can bring your pets in. There's all kinds of wonderful exceptions to our house. We are so much different than a hospital. So coming to hospice for your end of life time is really, really beautiful. It's been significant for many people. And as I continue my journey as now keeping this house running, I feel so grateful that I can help others through it. We also have a hospice at home program, and that is just what it sounds like. If people are choosing to look after their loved one or they themselves wish to be at home in those end of life months, we have services that support that. It's a 24/7 phone call to our nursing team. And we have a nursing team, a care team, and dedicated physicians for our hospice at home. And this program to me is just incredible. I think, Ben, we spent as much time at home as possible. His only hospital visits were when it was required, but those were his wishes. And that was really special for us to have that time together. So in looking at what hospice offers, there's so much more than just that end-of-life care. We also have advanced care planning, so you can talk to people at our facility about what that looks like, about what you want for your future wishes, who's going to answer questions for you or on your behalf, and what that looks like. So we help navigate that, and we also have grief and bereavement services that not only come at the time of passing and beyond, but up to. Because I certainly had a lot of grief hitting me in my early days of receiving the news about Ben, because you have a lot to wrap your brain around thinking, or what is my life going to be like? What is actually going to happen? And all of the things that you go through that we know of, denial, anger, questioning, doubt, there's a lot of support for things like that as well. So my final thoughts for you today are to really consider how hospice can be a resource for you. I would encourage you to reach out to us. You can find us on our website there, NOHS.ca, super easy. You can get my phone number from Philip. I would happily talk to anybody about the planning piece and the talking about it. And I would really inspire you to bring up this conversation with your loved ones. No one is too young. No one is too soon. The conversation is important because eventually it will find us all. We don't choose when we die or how we die, but we can choose when and how we talk about it. And for me, that's now. That's today.